I was a lot of their first, being their first plus size curvy model.
You couldn't let anyone know the things that you were going through, you know, whatever you shared.
The Bible says, but the God of all grace, hallelujah, and after you suffered a while, how many have
choice to write your own story? Would you write it, or would you let someone else have the pen?
Good morning, my sister. Welcome to another segment of Early Morning Coffee with Marvina and her BFF. Where we give our voice to the voiceless and we let you say what is on your mind. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited today. Y'all can see. Can y'all see? Can y'all notice? I am excited. I got chills in my body. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I feel great today. I feel great today to have my African American sisters on here today, baby. Hey, good morning, Tara. Good morning, Dada. Good morning, everybody. Well, of course, I'm drinking out my cup, the special cup my auntie gave us on for my birthday. Isn't that beautiful? Do you see what it say? The morning mindset mug. Amen. This is confirmation mug. And inside my cup this morning, I am drinking that Rise coffee. My BFF and my brother told me to start drinking it. Let me tell you something. As I can say this, I was a little skeptical, but baby, it make you smell good. Let me tell y'all, no lie. I was like wondering, okay, what's the big thing about this Rise coffee? You know what? It does. It affects your body. Whatever that mushrooms or whatever, it not only does it give you energy, it makes you smell good. That's some good stuff for me, baby. Well, anyway, before I start blabbing on like I do, BFF, what's going on in your neck of the town, girl?
Good morning, everybody. I am a little under the weather. I have this cough. If anybody have any known remedies out there, please let me know, because between this pollen and other allergies, it is wearing me out. Normally, my allergies are worse in the fall and winter, but I'm getting a straight kick right on into the spring and the summer. I can tell you that much. But I am drinking from my mug that Auntie Debbie gave me. Thank you, girl. I use it every day. And I am drinking my Rise coffee with I got me some little what is that? Some equal in there, and a little bit of hazelnut. But other than that, it's some Rise coffee for me this morning. Some Rise
No
coffee.
sugar in mine today. I just used creamer.
Did you?
I didn't put
I can't do the sugar. It's so weird.
I didn't
Well,
put
it's
anything
so
any
weird.
type of sweetener. Well, the I think this because I used the creamer, that kind of made it sweeter, but it's good. I mean, I'm liking the effects more than I like the taste. You know what I'm
I
saying? I
got
like
you.
I got the energy. I feel that much. I feel the glow in the face and I
You know,
smell good.
I can eat so silly. I can eat something sweet, but I can't put sugar. Like if I go to use sugar and stuff like that, it just tastes so weird to me. But praise report. Once again, those A1C levels dropped on down some more. I have not, and I told, Marvina would tell you this. When they told me I was diabetic, I said, the devil is a lie. I am not receiving that. And I have not had to take an insulin shot now in 2 years. 2 years, people. 2 years. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to kick it with the as much zero sugar as possible.
Okay, so the Dr. Janelle, miss you girl. Mm. She said one garlic and one okra to supplement once a day. We gotta find out what she means by that,
Hmm.
because
I
that if that
saw.
helps out with the cough, that'll be perfect. Because we're trying to figure out how we can sit down and stay somewhere without her having to get up and walk out.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, we went to a beautiful uh
Woo!
oh Lord have mercy, last
Y'all
night. It was
did
a
that
it was
last
a
night.
it was a great event, and
Yeah,
my BFF started that coughing.
I know. I got
It's
up and
okay
went
though. Hey Ebony! Hey Ebony, how are you? Okay, well, we're gonna go on. We're not gonna take up all this time and talking about nothing to something to whatever. We got ready to come on. Before we start this our segment, we're gonna go ahead on and bring out um the coordinator, more or
Mhm.
less, of this event. We want to talk to her for a second and give her, so she can give her kind of a little insight on where she was going with this. And I'm not going to sit here and keep talking. I'm just going to bring her on. Hello, Tracy.
Hi.
Good
Good
morning.
Good
Good
morning.
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 Good morning. Well, I'm going to ask you before we get started, what's in the bag, girl? What's in the bag?
What's in the bag? What's in the bag today is what does it mean to be an African American woman? Very, very powerful. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited. But even before that, I just want to thank you, ladies, for this opportunity to come back on to What's in the Bag, to be on this platform. Just really, really grateful for you guys. The second thing that I want to do is we just closed out Women's Month, the month of March. So this is like perfect timing, to do something like this. And then thirdly, this is the weekend of Easter. So just want to kind of, say that as well. But yeah, so what's in the bag is what does it mean to be an African American woman? And, I got this, I guess, inspiration to do it. It just kind of came to me. And I said, you know what? I want to bring on some beautiful, powerful, phenomenal women to share this experience with. And so here we are. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Me too. I'm excited also. So
Yes.
before we get started,
Yeah.
let's talk about something. Let me ask a question. Yvonne, I have not put on the introduction. Oh Lord, it is not on. Do you believe that? I did not put the
It's
introduction on.
okay.
So I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to bring on the ladies, okay? And we're going to get get this started. And while I'm getting this started, I'm ready to come off for 1 second. And once I come off for a second, I'm gonna let the ladies go ahead. But hello, welcome everybody. We get ready to come on and bring our panel on. And here they are. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Grand
Good
Rising.
morning,
Good
Good
morning,
ladies.
Grand
morning.
Rising,
Rising.
Grand
Grand
Rising. That's
Ladies.
Rising,
my.
yes.
This some African
That's right,
American
babe.
black
That's
women. We get ready.
right.
Yes, ma'am. We get ready to have some questions. We're gonna go ahead on with these questions. And before I get started, I think Tracy, you wanted to go ahead on and introduce each one of the women. If that am I correct?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So, I want to start with Kimberly White. Kimberly and I met in college many, many, many years ago at Tuskegee University. And we just kind of like hit it off and we were attached at the hip. And if we weren't together, people were asking, where's Tracy? Where's Kim? So,
Right.
yeah, longtime college friend. Glad we were able to reconnect. Glad she's able to be here today. Next, I want to introduce Shawnique Woolfalk. And we worked together. We actually worked
Right.
together. We became friends. My daughter even babysat her son when he was younger. And then one day I found out that her cousin is married to my cousin. And I had gone to Shawnique's wedding, all of this, and did not know. So we are cousin friends by family, if that's the thing. And then, as you mentioned, Dr. Johnel couldn't be here today. And so we had the task of finding another beautiful, phenomenal woman. And so we have Claudette. And what's interesting about Claudette, although I did not know Claudette, the other African American woman that I wanted to bring in could not do the show today. And so it turns out that Claudette and her are friends. So it's a very small, small world. And as far as how we got here. So one other thing I do want to mention Adrienne, who was supposed to be here as well today. I did find out that she had been in a car accident. So we want to just say prayers for her. And she had to go like back, I guess, to the emergency room last night, early this morning. So just want to
Mm.
say, yeah, yeah, keep her in our prayers.
we're going to do something a little different. So
Okay.
in this, we're going to we have 12 questions. And in these questions, we're going to ask individuals these questions, and they're going to answer them in their own experience as an African American woman, especially in this day of time. And we're asking everyone that's out, that's watching, that's commenting, if you have anything you have to say, you may have to comment on maybe one of the questions have something to do with your bag personally. So since if that we welcome you, and we will bring up your comment like we do normally, but we're going to ask you to do it in inquiry of whatever the question is. And we're not going to wait till later. We're going to go ahead on and ask you to go ahead and speak on that question also. So for the first question, this is for Shawnique. The first question is, what does it mean to I'm sorry, what does it mean being an African American woman and loving a black man through all his issues?
That's heavy. But good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for allowing me to be on this platform. Thank you so much, Tracy, for the invitation. I'm so excited to be here. I am a mother, a wife. Well, was a wife. He passed away, so I'm a widow now. And I have found love in another partner that is amazing. So I can answer this question with loving my children because I have two sons. Um, and I had a husband and we had a relationship that was positive and negative at times, and then now having an African American male partner that loves me differently. So I think loving as an African American woman, loving a male with all the issues is being patient, being very kind, um, but being able to compromise, right? And sometimes you don't know it all, especially when you're in a younger relationship and you grow with the person. Sometimes what happens is um, your love languages are different, but doesn't mean that you don't love the person. And I found that out later on after my husband passed away. I found out that we did love each other, but we had a different love language. And he did ultimately love me, but it was a different type of love. I needed and deserved more. Now my sons or my boy moms out there, that love is different. So as
Absolutely.
Tracy said, we met way back when my oldest son now is 20 years old. And like she said, we met and he was about 2 years old, 1 or 2 years old. Now he's 20. And my other
Wow.
son is 13. So this is an ongoing love. And I'm not sure who has older children or younger children, but what I realize is a mother's love is so important. And what's even more important is having amazing um, women around that can also help with the upbringing of your sons because they definitely need to be able to see a strong woman and also be able to lean on her, um, but making sure that we love, but without sternness as well. Um, so that's how I love my son. Now, moving into what I'm into now, I met my partner when we were both I believe, at a transition in our lives to let people in and to love again. So with that, I will say it's a different type of love that I had with my first relationship, long-term relationship, but it is so refreshing. It is positive. It is a friendship that has turned into a partnership, which also includes love. So I just gave you guys 3 ways that an African American woman can love on an African American male or a male, um, and deal with their issues. So we just have to be consistent with our love and how we actually love on our men.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Love that. I have a question
Yes.
for Shawnique, just
Go
really
ahead.
quickly. Do
Yes.
you feel that, and I know it may be a little difficult or challenging to ask if you haven't dated outside of your race, but do you feel that African American men have more challenges, maybe than other races, and therefore it could be more difficult for us to try to love them because we're having to deal with their challenges?
So I've never dated outside of my race. That's the first answer. So what I do believe and what I do know is everyone, no matter African American or whatever race or whatever background you're from, everybody has challenges. So I can't fully answer that because I think everyone has a challenge. I don't think it makes it harder because I don't know what it is to deal with someone else from another race, but I know everyone deals with grief. Everyone deals with happiness and sadness differently. I do feel, depending on your upbringing, you may not know how to navigate some of your issues. I think therapy is very important, and especially when you go through trauma or being able to speak to someone to help you go through these challenges, like men's groups or women's groups in spaces and safe spaces that actually help with you going through your traumas or your childhood issues that you've had. So I can't speak to another race or ethnicity, but I do know we all as people go through challenges.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You guys, is
Welcome.
any comments out there? Anyone want to ask Shanique? No, I don't see anything. Okay, so we gonna go ahead on with the next question, and this one right here is goes to Miss Claudette. How you doing, Miss Claudette? This is my girl.
Power to the people, baby. Power
Power
to
to
the
the people,
people.
baby.
Yes.
Okay, so number two, what does it mean being an African American woman and being in a physical abusive relationship?
Hmm. That comes from a place of reality. Okay. Getting married at 19 years old, being pregnant, and not really knowing that man, but knowing that he looked like me and that we had the same interest. We were both in performing arts. He was a trumpeter, um, and anyone who knows me knows that I am a literary performing and teaching artist. And so, we had dreams of going to New York and doing all kinds of different things, but he really didn't. Okay. I found out later on that even dating me was a hmm, contest. And it's written in a book. I'm not even going to get into all of that. But I know one thing for sure. Oftentimes we tell ourselves, oh, if that was me, I would do that. If I lived in slavery, I would have. No, you don't know. You don't know what you
That's
would have
right.
done. And the times are different. And like Miss Shanique said, we all come with baggage. We all come with stuff. We come with trauma. And oftentimes, while we may not have experienced the trauma in our own lives, we've got DNA which we carry
Mm-hmm.
in us, and it stays. I mean, you can look at just about any scripture and you'll see how those lines continue to work. I mean, many people in the quote unquote Christian faith will say, they will say things like, well, that's a generational curse. No, no. It is what I have always believed to be genetic memory. We're going to
Mm.
remember things, not only things that we've seen, but people might say, oh, you had a deja vu. No such thing. No such thing. I've never believed that, even as a child. Something comes through you, someone else's voice is
Mm.
speaking to you, and it has to do with that DNA. And so I tell people all the time strength doesn't always look like leaving immediately. What it is, hmm, survival is silent It is
Mm-hmm.
strategic, but more importantly, it is spiritual. It is spiritual. You've got to agree with yourself when it's time to leave. You've got to trust and pray and be fearless enough to do what it takes to leave. All right, and understand what standing with that leaving is. We carry strength in silence as
Yes.
African American women. And whether you want to believe it or not, we are uniquely built, every last one of us who are in this melanated skin. Why? Because we were taken from a continent and brought over here. And as we began to what grow, as we there began to be more and more numbers of us, we were on what is called America. And so they combined those two. But I will always believe that no matter where you put us, we're always going to be African and we're always going to be the strong women that we were meant to be. We just got to find that. And so, navigating survival, we got to hold on to our dignity, we got to hold on to faith, and we've got to always hope that there is a place for us to be free. I can be free in my mind
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily free in my body. And I've seen that happen with people who've ended up paralyzed or whatever. Anyway, being in that abusive relationship, what was a real blessing is that I had support. I had a support group. I had somewhere I could go. And because of my parents and my aunts and my uncles and my siblings, I was able to get through that. But then being in that abusive relationship also brought repercussions because this man stole my child when she was 4 years old. And
Mm.
it took me 9 years to get her back into our
Wow.
family. And I know for a fact that we are more than conquerors, that we are more than survivors. As African American women, we stand tall. Let me just give you what I wrote real quick. African American women stand tall with strength that will not bend or fall through struggle and love, guided by our ancestors above. Baby, we rise unbreakable. We are free.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Wow.
Mm.
Tracy?
Ooh, powerful.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so let's go ahead on and put with Diana Ellis. Hey, sister, you have to learn to love yourself first before you can survive life changes.
Mhm.
I love that.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's nothing, no comment on being in an abuse. See, I've never been in an abusive relationship before where somebody abused me because I fought back. Okay,
Mm.
I fight back, fight that back. But I get it, like Miss Claudette said, you never can say never. I'll never do this. I'll never do that. It never, it'll never happen to me. I would have do this way and that way. And I know there's a lot of you out there as African American women
Mhm.
who has known somebody or even been through an
Mm-hmm.
abusive
Mhm.
relationship.
Mhm. Mhm.
If it's verbal or physical,
Mhm.
if they talk to you in any kind of way, it's that's just as bad.
Right.
So
Right.
it's abusive.
Mhm.
So I'm there. I'm there. Okay, so we're
I
gonna
have
go
a
on
quick
with our. Go
question.
ahead. I'm sorry.
I
Go
have a
ahead,
quick
Tracy.
question. Yeah, for Claudette.
Mhm.
Claudette, were you surprised that you were in that situation? Oftentimes, we're like, how did we get here? Were you
Mhm.
kind of like surprised, like, wow, this is
Mhm.
happening to me?
I was absolutely surprised. My mother could not believe it because I was the one who was fighting all the time. That's
Mm,
why here at my age, I'm still getting my teeth fixed. Okay. She was shocked
right.
that what he did what he said what but what people have to understand is when you've got a child in the mix and you're
Hmm.
dealing with somebody that man mm, he had a gun that was unregistered that his father got from World War II, and they had filed off everything.
Mm.
That man put that gun to every orifice of my body and promised that he would kill me in front of my child. Okay. So I had to think about my child. And I felt like I was all alone, not knowing because, well, he had the key to the mailbox. He took the mail. My parents were sending money for me to go to school. Hello. I'm not going to get into all of that because it takes me back to a dark place. But when I got enough, when he did something one night, and I was like, I'm going to kill this man, right? So I understand how people can get caught up in crimes of passion. Because when I hit him over the head with that cast iron frying pan and stepped over his body, when I saw he was bleeding profusely from his head and went into the bathroom and drew some bath water. See, my mind takes me back to what I did, but it also takes me to a point where I didn't even remember that I was doing that.
Mhm.
And what woke me up was my baby waking up. She started crying. And I was like, oh my God, if he's dead, if he's dead, if he's dead, they're going to take my baby. If he's dead, I'm going to. I got dressed very quickly. I wrapped up my baby. I had sensitive. I picked up a diaper, ran upstairs where his master sergeant lived, and told him, "Y'all got to call somebody, this, that, and the third." And they came and got him. He was alive. I went to the hospital to see about him, and he threatened to kill me when he got out. And I was like, "I ain't gonna be there when you get out." Okay. It took the family that I had at home calling the Pentagon, getting the captain of the base, all of them involved to get
Mm.
my daughter and I out, right? And then I
Thank you.
find out later on that the master sergeant's wife, Joyce, is my cousin on my father's
Mm.
side. And
Mm.
she was the one who called asking for my mother that night. My dad was home. He answered the phone and all hell broke loose. I had to get home because I didn't want my daddy going to jail with me. All right. So
Wow.
yeah, you don't know what you're gonna do. And
That's right.
oftentimes when you're young, there's a picture, and I'm gonna stop. An artist, her name is Starsha, and what she has is a picture that she drew of her abusive relationship. It's a bridge, and under the bridge is a man who is silhouetted, and under the bridge is also a rock with a lamb that has been slaughtered, and the blood from the lamb begins to flow up into the sky. And when it's in the sky, they're red flags. But she's sitting on the moon, taking the flags and making them into hearts. And I will never forget how that picture struck me. I have it. And I'm like, every now and then, I got to look at that because that's what we do sometimes. We see the red flags, but we're turning them into hearts because we don't want to see what we see. No, I didn't know, but the red flags were there. I just didn't recognize it. We were gonna make it work.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for being transparent and just giving us, just visuals and so much detail. And I know that your story is, helping someone, you know. Um, so thank you. I really, really appreciate that.
Okay.
And hear you.
Can you hear me?
Can
Hello,
hear
can you
you
hear
now.
me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. For the third question is for Yvonne. It says, what does it mean being an African American woman and having been molested or sexually abused? Ooh.
Whew, well, that is that is a deep one, and opening up my bag and emptying it out today, it does take you back. It does take you back to a place because you want to be as transparent and as honest as you can in hopes of helping somebody else. For me, as my earliest memory of a molestation started when I was around about 4 or 5. And being an African American woman who, experiencing that, it's a lot of pain, that you carry that people don't always see. And for me, and I'm pretty sure so many of us learn early how to keep showing up. We keep smiling. We keep taking care of everybody else. while quietly carrying what happened to us. And what I mean by that is, keep smiling. You don't want people around you to know that something is wrong. Even at a young age, I knew it wasn't right, but I was always afraid of the things that this person put into my head. If you tell this is going to happen to your mom or this is going to happen to your dad, all of your sisters are going to be taken away. So you walk around and you hold that in because you don't feel that you can go back and say anything. You don't feel that anybody's going to believe you. And when you think about it, a lot of black women were raised in environments, I know I was, where silence was normal. You were told to not talk about it, or basically, what happens in my house stays in my house. Those types of things. And if I could go back now, those are things that I feel is a huge disservice. I never told my children that. I never told them what happens in this house stays in this house, because that trapped me. That trapped me for about 14 years. And it's you don't want to shame your family. You don't want to hurt those around you. And so that in itself creates layers of hurt. It created confusion for me, and sometimes even shame. And shame, to be honest with you, shame that was never mine to carry in the first place. But it also means strength in a different way. Um, Not just surviving it, but it helped me to find my voice. It took years, and I'm still healing, because there are times when I see things or hear things, and it kind of takes me back there, and it kind of sets me off. And I can look at people and I can sense things about them immediately. And I am that person. I will grab the phone. I'll dial 911. I'd rather be wrong than to be right. But I'm the one that's going to make that phone call. Um, so that helped me finding my voice and refusing to let that trauma define my worth. It means understanding that what happened to you is part of your journey, because everything that happens to us is part of our journey. But it does not get to tell it didn't get to tell me who I was. I realized that I'm still worthy, I'm still powerful, and I'm still whole. And with my children, I was very open and honest with them, and they know the things that happened to me. And because of that, I look at it like this: my experience it may explain some of my scars, but it did not cancel my strength. It didn't cancel my purpose or the woman that I became. And it became very important for me to let my children know that, to help break that cycle. So they were more aware of being able to be honest and open and just let anything out if anything went wrong.
Yes. Oh, wow. That's very powerful. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I really call this the perfect silent crime,
Hmm.
because the person that's committing it, they don't have to run, they don't have to hide. They're not really in fear of being caught, because they know that the victim is not going to say it. So it's the perfect silent crime. And, for maybe African American women, we may also feel, and I think you alluded to this, was that who's going to believe us? Is anybody really going to believe us? Because I'm thinking many of us have seen maybe movies or TVs where the victim comes forward, a child, and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. No, you must be mistaken. So I just, again, appreciate you sharing your truth and knowing that this is going to help someone, you know.
And I do have a question. So how did it affect you as a mother once you had your children, your child? You know, did it, how was it, how did that affect you as an adult mother?
I became overprotective. My sisters, they tell me all the time. They say, "Girl, you were so hard on your children." Um, it wasn't that I was being hard; I was being protective, or what I thought that protection meant. I did not allow my children to go to, if it wasn't my mom and my dad, they didn't go. If I couldn't go with them, they did not go. I did not allow them. They went to their other grandmother's house. but that was it. And if someone else was there, then they couldn't go. If there were other adults in the household other than their grandparents or something like that, they could not go. If there were older children, they could not go. And I raised them with this mentality. You are four until you turn five, five until you turn six, six until you turn seven. I refuse to allow them to grow to get older too fast. I did not want their age of innocence taken from them because mine was taken, and I think that is such a precious gift, and it was taken from me. And my kids now they look back and they say, "Who, mom? You were kind of you were very strict." And I also, if I couldn't meet the other children's parents, they wanted to go, and I had to meet them. I had to know exactly where they were going. If they were even in a group setting, if other parents are there, then I'm like, maybe I need to go. And I was even that way with my sons. It wasn't just my daughter because I think a lot of times we forget that this, and we talked about this last week. These type of things happen to boys as well as girls. And so sometimes I feel that that's the biggest taboo, and it doesn't get spoken about that often. And I'm really certain that if someone were to just sit down and just open up and just just have just a show about
Mhm.
young men, you would have so many people that comes forward. Um, but I just made sure that, and I see that in my sons because my daughter doesn't have any children, but I see that in how protected they are with their sons, with their children as well. So yeah, so it did. It was good and bad at the same time because sometimes I think I just kind of collared them in, and I'm in in my own personal jail for a while, and that may not have always been the best thing.
Thank you for sharing. And then, of course,
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? I'm like
I
every
can.
time.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for allowing us to get in on that. But on that note, we have one more question for you. How about that, Yvonne? Number 4. What does it mean being an African American woman and being a single parent?
Whew.
That goes on
That
exactly
is-
what you was just. It's just piggyback off of what you was just talking about.
yeah. And and I'll say this, a lot of people don't know that about me. That for the first 5 years, I was a single parent with my daughter, and I was so protective of her. Um, for me, I guess being a single parent for 5 years meant learning how to be everything at once. I had to be the provider, I had to be the nurturer, I had to be the disciplinarian, I had to be the encourager, and then still somehow I had to find a way to hold myself together. Because you got to remember, I was still broken from so many things that I had already endured. There were days when I was tired, I was uncertain, and I was stretched thin. I was a young mother. I was pregnant at 16, and I had my daughter when I was 17. And I did not have the resources to fall back on. My dad was very strong willed, and he was like, you had this baby, so this is on you. And so I had to grow up and I had to learn. There, you know, as a black woman, we're often expected to just make it work, and many of us do. But people don't always see the sacrifices behind that strength, the sleepless nights, the hard choices. I, I was going into the Air Force and I had to switch things around. I didn't know that if you go into the military, and you have a child and you're not married, you have to sign over rights. You have to give somebody custody of your child in case something happens. And I just refused to do that. So I had to change my whole life around. And so I had to deal with the anger and the resentment, not the resentment of my child, but the resentment of feeling like I didn't have the support. I didn't even have the support of the church because I was young. The church turned their back on me. So it was a lot of different things that I had a lot of sacrifices. I love God and I love the church. So I felt that was a place that you were always supposed to be able to come to, but that door got shut. So I had to pivot. I had to grow up really, really fast. So you had a baby having a baby who had to turn into a woman overnight to take care of the baby that she had. So with that being said, it taught me resilience. It increased my faith because I realized that the church is just four walls, but God was always with me and he continued to protect me. He continued to shield me and be over me. And just how powerful a mother's love can be. I got a love inside my heart as it relates to my children. And I would go out, I would tear down this world. I burn all the trees. I kill everybody in this world for my baby. Those 5 years showed me that being a single parent wasn't just about the struggle. It was about discovering a strength in myself that I didn't know was there. And I still have that strength and resolve in me today. So my daughter and I, we talk about this all the time. I thank her for choosing me and allowing me to be her mother and helping me to get to the woman that I am today. So, at the end of the day, single motherhood taught me that even when life leaves you carrying the load alone, love will make you stronger than you ever imagined.
Yeah.
Do
Wonderful.
you think, sorry, go ahead, go ahead. Oh, okay. Do you think that society looks at single mothers differently, and particularly Black women, African American women? Um, because there are many other races that also where there's a single parent, single mom. So, do you feel that we're looked at maybe differently by being an African American single mom?
I do, and if I go back to the '80s, it was like it's like I had that scarlet letter on my forehead, and so a lot of adults, even within my own family, made me, and I turned away from my family for some of these very reasons. Um, just because I had a baby didn't mean that I was scum of the earth. It didn't mean that I wasn't going to amount to anything or be someone. It didn't mean that I was going to turn into this automatic baby making machine and have all these different babies and just be on the system, because that's what people told me. That's what they told me. And had it not been for people who poured into me, a few people, I don't know where I would be. My great grandfather said something to me that I did not understand at the time. He kept telling me that I was pregnant, and I kept saying, "No, I'm not." I didn't really because he kept telling me I had broke my leg, and I didn't know what that meant in his terms. And
Mm.
then he grabbed my arm one day and he said, "Some people slip and fall and they break their leg and they become crippled for life." He said, "Some people slip and fall and they stand taller and stronger than they ever did before." He said, "What you gonna do, gal? What you gonna do?" And when I look back on that, that was the life support that I needed. It was the life support.
Beautiful.
We had a comment that I didn't see in the beginning, from a Renee. I think it's Rainier. I'm not sure. But they said that's awesome. We have so little time for being children, and it is precious. It's a precious gift. I
It
think that was
is.
from before when you was talking about your the abuse you had went through as a kid, as young. And then my sister, which is Diana, she said, Vina, the same question for you. How was it being a single African American single mother?
That's right.
um, and I'm just gonna try to brief this because this is not my question. I didn't pick it. So um it was a struggle for many years, but because I had a strong mother figure, my mom, she got married, and in our household was our stepdad, but she she embedded in me about being a mom, and I patterned myself after my mother. It was a struggle now because, I'm just gonna say this. I went through addiction, drug addiction with my children. I went through being homeless with my children. I've been through moving from place to place, house to house, over and over again, not having enough money, not having this and that and the other. But I've made it through. And now with 5 children, ages from 34 to 21, and 5 great grandchildren, aging from 9 to some months. It was I never said it was easy. I'm never gonna say that. Nothing about what I went through was easy, but I realized God gave me hips for a reason. As an
Mm.
African American woman, I have hips. And I carried this. I carried it with on my hip. So now as I got older and I see where I've been and where I'm at now, I'm grateful because it made me the African American powerful woman that I am today.
That's right.
So I just piggyback off my BFF when it comes down to that. In most of my years with my children, I was single. I got married twice, and first husband passed away. Second husband, he passed away in as far as relationship wise. Everybody said to death do us part. The death ain't always
That's
physical death.
right.
It could be, a death of the relationship. And I still raise my children since 2009 to they got grown on my own with my BFF friend, and we made it through. And it was tough, but we did it. We did it. So let's go ahead on what Tara said. Tara, let's go ahead. She done gave us one. I can relate, even being a single grandparent who have to fill the void of a young boy who lost his mother to domestic violence at the age of 3, and who will become a young man, and you have to love with love that will never take place of the love that he knew from his mother. Then to show him as a young man that love does hurt or hit, that you can be angry or have disagreements, but have respect for each other's opinions and boundaries. And we can't control people, places, and things. The only control we have is the control he has within, and what has happened doesn't define who he will become as a man. Love that.
Karen, you said that.
Yeah, yes, I love that. So I love that. Now we get ready to go on to our next segment. Next part. And before we go on to our next part, I want to go ahead on and bring our introduction in, and then right when we come back, we're gonna finish up with the questions. Okay. So I need y'all to hold on with us and just pay attention as what an African American means to a lot of us but we know we're powerful. So here we go.
She carries more than you see. Oh, yeah. Legacy, strength, identity. Come from roots that were never meant to grow. Still I rise in places they said I wouldn't go. Carrying stories I didn't choose, turning pain into purpose with nothing to prove. They call me strong like I don't feel, like I don't break, like I don't heal. But there's a softness underneath my crown. Even queens need space to lay it down. Oh, 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 hey. I've been the backbone, the silent fight, holding it together day and night, speaking truth when no one hears. wiping my own and everybody's tears. Oh, hey, they see my strength, but not the weight, the pressure carried, the silent ache. Still I stand, I don't fold. A living story still being told. I am more than survivor, more than pain, more than what the world tries to name. Hey, 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 more than pain. Hey, yeah. What does it mean to be an African American woman? It means I rise even when I'm tired, stand tall when I feel uninspired. I am beauty, I am grace, I am history no one can erase. I am voice, I am truth, I am power, I am proof. I am beauty, I am grace, I am beauty, I am grace, I am beauty, I am power. I am the prayer my mother prayed. I am the strength she never showed. I am the dream they tried to fade. I am the fire that still glows. I am becoming every day, not who they said, but who I say. Don't box me in, don't water me down. I've carried worlds, still wear my crown. Even in silence, I speak loud. Even in pain, I make it proud. What does it mean to be an African American woman? It means I rise again and again, breaking cycles, healing within. I am love, I am fight, I am wrong, I am right, I am past, I am now, I am hurt, I am wow. Being an African American woman is not just a title. It's a journey, a legacy, a power the world is still learning to understand. This is what's in the bag, the journey within, where every voice matters.
Whew.
Whew, right.
Marvina Clay.
That was
All
amazing.
right, now if y'all don't know what an African American woman is, that's what
Absolutely
American.
powerful.
Yes, yes,
Good.
yes.
That
Yes.
part.
Whew.
Yes.
Okay,
Amazing.
so we're gonna go ahead on with the next question. Go ahead, Yvonne. Here you go.
Hold on,
Look
girl.
at you,
You got
stop
me
that
over here
crying.
crying. Oh, that covered everything.
It did.
Mhm.
All of it.
Jesus.
Mhm.
Well,
We
Marvina,
are.
this question is for you. What does it mean being an African American woman and having an absent father?
You know, this one right here was dear to my heart. When I read all the questions that Traci put out there, and everybody picked this, they picked their questions, and this was the only one that was left, and it was like spot on for me because I look I look at who I am today and where I supposed to be or who I thought I was supposed to be, put it that way. And then it reflects back to who my dad was and the identity that I had, and I questioned who I was. I know my dad. I knew who he was and what he stood for. My father my father is a Muslim. My and my mom married a preacher. And as a my mom being married to a minister, I was raised in the church. But I never understood why my dad he changed his religion, his relationship with the God of his understanding, and became a Muslim. And who I was and what I was, because I had a problem with understanding that he even changed his name. He was no longer Withers, and I was a Withers, and he had a son that was named after him, which became not a junior anymore because he changed his whole full name. I had a it was an identity issue
Mm.
to the point where even in my relationships with the men that I had bear children with and married, I always looked for that father figure in my relationship. Like I was a young woman, as my sis, as Yvonne said, I was 18 years old when I had my first child. My baby daddy was 39.
Wow.
I had my child at 19 and he was 40. But then I looked at my relationships from then on. They were always had to be older. They always had to be grown men. I never understood why that. If anybody wanted to talk to me, they had to be men. I didn't want no one my age because I felt like anybody my age wouldn't take care of me or love me
Mm.
the way my dad. I looked for a daddy figure. So everything was older. Everything was being able to take care of me or try to show me some type of relationship that I felt my dad should have gave me. He should have been there. All right. I just felt that many times that my choice and my decisions as far as a black African American woman was somebody that could be a figure of a father should look like. And if I look back on them, most of them was like that. They were they had their own cars, they owned their own houses, they had to take care of me, they had to show me love, they had to tell me they loved me because I didn't have that there in my life. Now, let me say this. My stepdad, he did the best he can. Like I said, he was a minister. He traveled, him and my mom traveled all the time. He put the church stuff in me. He showed the church was seems like at that point was raising me to find out what my identity was until I got old enough to realize it wasn't that I was looking for. Even in my relationship with God, the same thing with God. The same issue I was having with myself with finding that type of love, I was having the same relationship issues where I was with the God of my understanding. I look for this. I look for someone as far as a man figure that's going to be my daddy until I got older enough to realize that this was an issue. This was my issue. This was an issue that I had. My daddy wasn't there. I raised my children. Their dads wasn't there. One of them passed away. The other one was divorced. Two of them passed. And I had these father figures that wasn't there for my children. And I passed that on to my children. And I raised my children by myself. And then now I realize the effect that not having a man there to teach you how a man should respect you, to teach you the love that your significant other, your husband should do. So I went through men. I went through these several men trying to find something that was a void in my life as a child. I even clung to my stepdad, thinking, if I cling to him and what he was teaching, I would be at least accepted as a child, as a daughter, but I never really felt being accepted because he was not my real dad. He has a different last name. He had a different blood. And I know everybody might say, no, it's not about the blood. But when you have a dad that's around in this world, he's not physically gone. You always feel, what did I do wrong that this man did not want to be in my life? what about me? Why, I had identity issues. I had issues with self-esteem. I looked at myself and my color. I used to look at my siblings and they were all light skinned and I was dark skinned. I thought it was something wrong with me. I was a dark skinned sister whose dad was never around, who didn't want me, didn't want to have nothing to do with me, even though he walked this earth. He was here. So I had struggled. I struggled throughout my whole childhood, adult life, trying to find out what was wrong with Marvina. I am so sorry. Just
No.
and now as an adult, doing the same thing to my children. I mean, one passed away, but I did have another one. His son, he wasn't there for him. I see the same effect on them as I seen how I was brought up, not having a man figure in their life.
Marvina,
It-
it's okay, sis. It really is. I
Mhm.
see you are very emotional with this. And I just want to
yeah,
see that, I know we say it, it still does not define who you are.
That's it.
It does not define. And I want to say something else. The fact that your kid's father, your children's father are not there, you didn't do anything. You kept saying, I'm doing it to them, the same thing.
Come on.
You didn't do anything.
Come on.
You really didn't.
Mm-mm.
And, I just want to say this too. Oftentimes we associate our dad, if he's physically not there, if he doesn't show up, then, he's not there. There are many of us who have dads that are physically there and
That are
still do
there.
not show up,
That's it.
right?
That's right.
So, we just have to learn to maybe take whatever it is, the best part of that person, and go on with it
Mhm.
and go
the
on with
hard
it.
part is closure. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my dad's still alive, but now he has dementia. So when I finally get a chance to talk to him, he don't even really know who I am now as an adult. He don't know my kid.
But you know what? Out of all of this, guess what he gave you?
Life.
Your
Life.
DNA, life.
That's
That's it.
right.
So,
That's it.
regardless of everything else, you're still who you are because of the DNA that he gave you.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna pull up a couple of comments that were
Comments,
made.
please.
Let's see here. This is Shelly. Shelly said, "Remember that God protects us from people, places, or things, and your father may have been that person."
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And Tara said, "Look at you now, Marvina Clay. I love you. Amazing."
Amazing.
And then there was one more that I saw. Shelly also said, "There is nothing
Wrong with you.
wrong with you. You are a gift from God with a purpose."
Mm-hmm.
And let me just kind of piggyback off of Shelly. You are a beautiful gift. You
Mm-hmm.
are a beautiful gift. When you and I met, I told you, I said there is something about you because I was such an introverted person. I said there is something about you that I can see us being friends, and we have become these lifelong friends for well over 20 years now. When they say opposites attract, opposites truly attract.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that you feel that you missed from your dad, you really have. You have a desire. You've always had a desire to be in your children's lives and
Mm-hmm.
be fully engaged in their lives. When I talk to my nieces and my nephews and I ask them about their mom or we're trying to plan something, they always talk about this phenomenal woman that they have as their mother who has shown them strength, courage, and endurance. And they grind. They are grinders. I do have a question for you. Do you feel, as you were saying, that your identity was taken from you. Is that why you fought so hard to make sure that your children know who they are and whose they are, as well as your family with the family unity? And I mean, you one of the people. You're an oracle. You are able to sit here and recite and tell me everything about your entire family, from your grandmother, her mother, the whole 9 yards. You are a living, walking historian. Do you feel that that plays a part in that?
Well, of course, the children
Can't hear you.
know. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course it does, because my family, my children only because on my mom's side, and I find that this is something that goes on anyway. Um, you find a lot of the mother's side of the family, the children knows more about. It's the father side that you don't. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I sit around with my family, my children, and give them the understanding of who I am from my background. But the importance, even with me, is knowing who I am in the dad's background. I do know my dad's siblings, and I do know my grandma. I was raised up with that side of family. So I try my best to give them as much of understanding so they'll know their identity than me, you know, not talking to them and letting them understand who they are as young African American people, you know. But yes, that is very important to me for them to know who they are because of what I've been through. Mhm.
I just got one last thing to say, and I know we need to move on about this. Is for any of the men that are out there listening, I need for you guys to understand, as much as we say that African American boys need their fathers, African American girls need their fathers just as much. You're seeing it here today through Marvina and how it's still impacting her. So just know that it's extremely important for girls to have that love, that support from their fathers, from their
Yes.
father.
And one last thing, if I may. Um, it does not matter how you were conceived. You've got to remember that if your father didn't do anything else but provide the seed for you to be here, that's it. Because you got a father who ain't never gonna leave you. And you are evidence of that right here and right now. The
That's
fact
right.
that you have the gifts that you and you're willing to share them. Okay. And the other thing that we got to remember is everybody ain't us. You can't expect people to do what you would do. And you got to look at how people were raised. Everybody wasn't socialized like you. You don't know, daddy's background, but you know yours. You got it? All
Yes.
right. And I've always had to believe that I got the best of both my parents. I got the best of both of them because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here.
That's right.
That's it.
Right.
I quit and I got to go to the bathroom. Am I next?
Drop the mic on that one.
Wait, wait, wait. Okay, wait. My question isn't next, is it?
Is
It
her
is.
question yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to do the pee dance and then I'll just.
Go ahead, Vaughn.
Okay.
So she
Miss
can go to the
Carter,
restroom.
what does it mean being an African American woman and being labeled as angry and loud?
uh, that's a cultural thing. That is what I call a cult. We are being culturally misunderstood by other cultures who just don't want to understand because
Mm-hmm.
they've been taught all their lives that anyone who looks like me is lazy and stupid and loud and don't have no sense and all of that. right? But I love to be in positions where she's so quiet. People don't know, people don't know who she is. People don't, well, I was always told that when you open your mouth, eh, you give evidence of your brain. You put your
Mm.
brain on display. And so before it comes out of my mouth, especially in mixed company, I'm going to observe who's there. And sometimes I'll come out this way, and sometimes I just kind of sneak up on them. All right. But first of all, it's a cultural misunderstanding. And I got that working at Clemson University, being the only melanated person in the building. Okay. Or should I
Mm.
say, like my father used to say, the only fly in the buttermilk. And I had to be very careful how I expressed myself. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? God made me
Mm-hmm.
in the image that he wanted to make me in. Am I right about it? And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
what he's given me, the passion he's given me, the understanding that he's given me about the life I have lived, my life experiences, I, if you don't understand them, that's your choice. I've always believed that we always have a choice. And so what we find ourselves doing is reflecting that misunderstanding of our cultural expression that they have. And so we
Mm-hmm.
put ourselves oftentimes in a box and we got to be quiet. I'm going to tell you what happened to me at Clemson. I realized how well I have been indoctrinated.
Mm.
Okay. You don't know till you get there.
That's
Okay.
right.
And so I didn't realize it until, I was like, well, why don't they know that? Why they asking me this question? It's crazy. That's all I can say. And it took some therapy for me to really see what was going on with me. This education system that is set up here, once it was taken from us, because Black people started it. If it wasn't for people like us, there would be no public education system.
That's
But
right.
I ain't getting into that.
Right.
What it has become, they have indoctrinated us with the myths of what this country is about and who we are. And
Mm-hmm.
until we decolonize our brains, we're
Ooh.
going to continue to think that we are loud, we don't have anything to offer. But I know I got something to offer because I'm irreplaceable. You may
All
be
right.
able to replace the position, but you will never be able to replace Claudette, Rebecca, Alexander, Thomason. I am my own unique
Right.
self, just like Traci Miller, just like Kimberly, just like, what's your name, baby Shot? Just like y'all. You are your own brand. And
That's
I
right.
got a big story about that, but I'm going to shut up because I really got to go. The next question is mine, is it?
No, the next question
Okay,
not yours,
I'll
but
be
you got
back in a
some.
minute. I'll be back in a
Yeah.
minute. I love y'all.
Okay.
Thank
She has
you.
some
Thank you for
statements. Yvonne, go
that.
ahead and bring them up. So anyway, go ahead, bring them up.
Okay.
Comment.
Yeah, let me look at this. Shelly said, "Sis." Oh, hold on, let me pull it
Yeah,
up.
give her that one. Yep.
There we go. Shelley says systematic societal ideology that is taught out of fear of truly understanding our brilliance. Shelley, I couldn't have said that better. I love that. That is so true. That is so very true. And let's see here.
See,
Shelley also said this is a curriculum, not an education.
Mm.
read
Mm.
Auntie Debbie's.
Okay, let me go. Let me go back.
It's
Now
right
this
there. Say you took the words out of my mouth.
yeah. So this
There you
goes
go.
back to she was saying you took the words out of my mouth, sister. Dad helped created the seed to your existence, but God and you made your journey straight. Dads have meaning and purpose, but their purpose doesn't mean they control your destiny. All fathers are not dads. They sometimes come as the seed that planted into the root of your existence.
Okay, that was mine.
Going
I
back,
thought
yeah,
that was okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, Auntie. Okay.
and let me see.
What else?
Oh,
You
you put
got one
that
more?
one back. You put the same
Yeah, I
one back
took it.
up.
No, I took it out and you put it back in.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so we're gonna go ahead on with the next question then.
Okay,
You
I'm
ready?
ready.
Go
Hmm.
ahead. It's you.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. I am ready. Sorry.
This one is for Kimberly. What does it mean being an African American woman and not being supported and uplifted by our men?
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, ladies.
Morning.
Thank you for having me. So, from my experience, it was it's disappointing. Um, I think we put a lot as women, African American women, to supporting our men and uplifting our men. To not get the same in return is disappointing. Um, and hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my experience with it. What I had to learn was just to tap into my support, my system. My circle was small, but very impactful for me because at certain times it would just be depressing. You know, when you're trying to do things, do better, be better, and not have that support, it makes it more challenging. So I had to learn to let my circle be where I got the support from. I'm sorry, because it's mm, emotional for me because, you know, I'm a married woman and having a husband that wasn't supportive or not the way I wanted it, you know, because sometimes that's an issue as well. He felt like he was being supportive, it just showed different. So I had to let other people, my support system, show me that in their way, and it tapped into me a little more. Um, I'm sorry, it's kind of difficult. So I think we, as African American women, we also kind of have to learn that support shows up different, and you can accept it or not, but also, you know, get your strength from who is there for you.
Can I say something, Kim?
Hmm.
This is a very heavy question. Well, all of them are heavy, but
Hmm.
this is one that I can see where African American men may not really want to hear what we have to say. Oftentimes, we hear this a lot. Support your black man, support the African man. Is very little that we hear support the African American woman. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's where kind of like the breakdown is. Yes, we know that they have their challenges, we know that they have their issues, but so do we. And so I do feel a lot of times that that support for African American women falls short. And as you said, may not show up in the way that we need it. So just as much as we need to understand the African American man, they also need to maybe work on understanding the African American woman as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
I definitely agree with that, and I see that it's African American women are strong, strong in all of our situations, and we're just built that way. So just finding that strength, keeping that strength going, um, you know, because really, at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you just have to accept this is not going to come from our men and just keep going. And
Mhm.
that's kind of personally what I've had to do. Just keep going.
Shawnique, you were getting ready. You were getting ready to say something.
I was, but I looked at my question and I think I'm just gonna save it for my question. But
Okay.
um, I had a situation in the past like this, especially when I first started my nonprofit. Um, Starting a nonprofit was new to me, but it was also new to everyone around me because traditionally you work for your 20 years, you get your pension or your retirement, and then that's what you do.
Hmm.
So I totally understand where Kimberly is coming from about those close people, especially your husband not supporting you. And then sometimes you see the support in other places and you're like, hey, I'm right here and I'm trying to do this from the ground up. And it is hurtful. There were some things said in my situation, like, what? Like, are you serious right now? Um, but what I realize is what you just said, Kimberly, is like understanding that sometimes the support will not come directly from that person and just lean on people that believe in what you're doing.
Hmm.
And then sometimes I
Yes.
feel that we have to be a little more intentional about what we want and how we want it. And I
Hmm.
think sometimes that actually helps with putting the ask or the request in front of faces. But I also believe, like you said, sometimes people just don't get it, right? Or people get it when the pot is boiling and everything is looking good.
Right.
Hmm.
Start when you are literally scraping stuff together with your ideas or whatever it is, the support that you need, especially at the beginning stages. So thank you for that. But yeah.
Yeah.
I got something to say also, and I'm kind of piggybacking off of Shaniki. Our language, men, women language, are so totally different. We have different languages, and sometimes the way we relate to one another, we expect each other to understand. And support is support. No matter how we look at it, we can, if I got an issue and someone comes in and talk to me, but not giving me financial, just supporting what I feel is support. But sometimes when we expect, as far as relationships concerned, our men, our husbands, to support us, they believe that supporting you is just being there, taking care of the bill,
Hmm.
just standing in the gap, being with the family. They don't understand the support women are looking for. And our language sometimes, if, for instance, I'm just gonna give an example. If my husband says, "Baby, you okay?" and I'm looking like, "Yeah, I'm all right," but we know we're not all right
Right.
because we done sat home all day cooking, cleaning, trying to make sure went to work, came home, got to do this. But see, yeah, I'm okay to a man is I'm okay.
Hmm.
But to I'm okay to a man, to a woman, it's not I'm not okay. But it's sometimes our support has to be etched out and be truthful to what we need the support to be. Like, for instance, if he asks me I'm okay, I gotta say, baby, won't you go in there? We can cook together, or maybe you can go in there and cook or clean or help out with something. We have to be real with our support and what we're asking for. That's even in
That's right.
prayers when we go to our Father. We have to understand when you're asking, the asking is one thing, but to be supportive of the asking, you have to really understand that our language, the way we come to people for the support. I'm scared to ask people for stuff. I don't really ask too much of anything from other people because I look at what they might think about me and what I'm asking them to support me in. Or sometimes I don't feel like I'm liable. I don't that I know I need some money, but I'm believing in my hearts of hearts that somebody's going to say no, so I won't even ask for that support.
Mm.
So, it really people look at support in totally different ways. I'm looking at a support from a man is how are you asking for husband or son or
Hmm.
as a woman because they see us as strong people anyway. We walk around like we strong. We take on a whole lot. Our bags are so full, we don't even know if we're asking for support or if we just looking for someone to read our minds that we need the support. So we got to really understand what our support, what we asking for when we ask for
Right,
support
right.
and whom we asking because men don't get it like women get it. They don't get it like us. They don't never, come on now. I
Yeah.
ain't never known any man to get it like
Mm-mm.
we need them to get it.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to kind of piggyback off of something that you guys said early on in my marriage. I think it was like the second or third year. One day, my husband, he just slammed his hands down on the counter. He said, "Look, woman, we're not gonna make it." He said, "Because you walking around with an attitude. I keep asking you, is everything okay? You said yes, and I do something, and I could tell by the time I finished, it wasn't what you wanted." He said, "I am not a mind reader." He said, "I was raised," he said, "I work, I make sure the bills are paid, I make sure that you and the kids are good, and so on and so forth." He said, "So if there's something else that I need to know or you want me to do or you need, just say it. Just ask me. Just talk to me about it." He said, "One," he said, "don't yell at me and fuss at me because you want to need something." He said, "Talk to me and help me understand. Help me understand what I need to do more as it relates to the kids." He said, "Because by the time I walk in the door from being at work for 8 to 12 hours a day, it doesn't cross my mind that you've been here for the same amount of time I'm at work. You've been here with the kids." He said, "So I need to understand what it is that you need." He said, "Because I'm gonna tell you what I need and what I want when it comes to help." He said, "So you have to do the same." And I think that sometimes because of the way our we were raised from the previous generations, we are, we were taught to. I remember my grandmother said, "Cook, clean. I'm gonna teach you how to cook. Make sure the kids are okay when your husband comes home. You fix his plate. You do this. You do that." So I kind of internalized all that. But then with three kids running around and I was working, that was a lot. And so I had to open up and say, "This is what I need, and this is what I want." So sometimes I think it is, well, we as women don't always ask because we don't feel that we should burden them some more, if that makes sense. And then sometimes I think that men are afraid to ask because they see some of the anger and the frustration building up in us, and they don't want to open up that can of worms. So I think it's that book, "Women Are From Venus and Men Are From Mars."
Hmm.
That's a good read. So sometimes I think it is more of the communication, not to say that that's not what's taking place with you, but sometimes it is finding a way to reach that other person. And I find this in all relationships, finding a way to reach that other person so that they are able to understand your needs and your wants as well as you can understand their needs and their wants.
You have them butt heads too who just don't want to. They jealous. They don't want you to move up. They don't want you to do
You got
nothing.
some people
They
like
want to
that.
keep you
Right.
all tied down to them. You have those.
Yes.
I don't want you to make more
I don't
money,
want
all
you to,
those
yeah,
things.
and that's
Yeah.
the way society have us. Where
Mhm.
that's why women in general had to fight for our rights because men always seen us as under
Yeah,
them, and so there's more to this, this understanding support. But our a lot of time love language is not the same. We just don't have
yeah.
that same love language.
Let me show. This is what Di said. She said, "We as women know what we're getting when we choose a man. I think we can change them, which most time doesn't work, and we end up settling." Yeah, because I say this all the time, and I feel this with anybody. People show you who they are in the beginning. We choose what we want to see, and I say this: God put before us what we need to see. The enemy puts before us all that we want to see. And so we just have to choose which picture we want to view. Tara said, "What we so often do when someone hurts us, disappoints us, or cross a boundary, what we do, we smile and say it's fine. We tell ourselves we're being gracious, but really we're being scared. Scared of conflict, of losing them, or being too much. Then we feel those emotions that take root and choke our intimacy. Very well stated, Tara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that I can understand what Tara just said. Um, you know, to avoiding the conflict, um, just adjusting to dealing with what it is, right? Um, you know, it's hard to be disappointed, but at the same time, it's you just like, okay, I'll get over it. I'll be fine, and I'll just keep it going, just keep it moving, and finding in myself what's going to make it work.
Can I say one last thing, maybe, excuse me, to kind of sum it up? It really goes back to communication. Excuse me. Okay. It goes back to communication, right? So I think a key sentence would be, um, this is how I need you to support me. Instead of just saying, I need you to support me. And like we said, with any relationship, this is how I need you to support me, and lay it out. And then maybe follow it up with the question, can you or are you able to support me in this manner?
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
Miss
Quiet.
Claudette,
Where you at?
are you back?
Yeah, she back. I just seen you.
Yeah, I've been here. I just,
Uh,
you know, I got
go
that
ahead,
fancy
Yvonne.
voice.
I think we
What we
missed
got?
you too,
Miss
right?
Claudette,
Mhm.
what does it mean being an African American woman and being faced with colorism?
Mm,
Ooh.
mm. It's up
Okay,
your
you
alley.
all know that colorism is an extension of racism.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
And you got to understand what that is. Because racism is a social construct. It was put together to keep us divided. One of the things that my father and mother both used to say to us is all kinfolk, all kinfolk ain't all kinfolk ain't kinfolk.
That's
In other
right.
words, my mother told me about a time that she was invited to a birthday party, but before she came, she took what is known as the brown paper bag test. Have you all heard of that? Where you are given a brown paper bag, which is put next to you. And if your skin is lighter than the brown paper bag, then you're accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that
I
really,
remember
really
that.
happened. Many people talk about Willie Lynch. I call him the TED talker for enslavers back at that time. And he talked about the colorism thing. Put the
Mhm.
lighter skinned ones in the house, put the others in the,
That's right.
whatever, whatever. But what we have to remember is that where it all came from. We got to remember that it's a system that we have internalized, and it helps to keep us divided from one another. And that is just not a good thing. So the first thing we got to do is name it, and name it honestly. Okay. And then the next thing, like I said, we got to decolonize our thinking, because that's what it is. Just because your hair is straight don't mean you got good hair. If you got hair, it's good. Okay.
That's
So
funny.
that's why I try to tell people all the time. If you got some hair on your head, that's a good thing. What's going to differentiate your hair from mine? The other thing I can't stand is people calling people's locks dreadlocks. What's dreaded about your hair growing out of your head the way it's naturally supposed to? Okay, I can't take it. I
Right.
can't. So we got to decolonize that. And then the other thing that we have to remember to do is that we are all human beings.
That's
We
right.
got blood that flows through our bodies, that carries the oxygen, that does what it needs to do to keep our bodies doing what God created them to do. And so we've got a choice. Am I going to um, allow you to be in my space, in my place, because your skin is lighter than mine, and I think that, or because you cuter than me, and when we go to the club, the guy's gonna come because you cute. I mean, we look at things just so
Yes.
ugh, And it just
Right.
really gets on my nerves. So it's all about power, y'all. And we got the power. We came here with it. We I tell my daughters that, I tell my sons that. You came here with everything you need to succeed.
That's
As
right.
your mama and my husband, the daddy. Look, when we come together, we're gonna do what we can to help bring out of you what God put in you. Right? And we got to understand that you're going to do it in levels. You're going to do it. It's all a process. You got to trust the process. And you got to trust that we love you enough to give you what you need to recognize who you are. Right?
Mhm.
But this colorism thing, that's all it is. What color are you? I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna say no more because I would just, you just gotta have the courage to unlearn or decolonize not only your mind but
Right.
your tongue.
That's
We
right.
got to decolonize that because, and it's real, y'all. I look at where I am right now in terms of chronological age, and there's still some digging and changing and decolonizing that I have to do, right? And living this life, it's a lifelong journey. None
Mhm.
of us ever arrive until we get back home. I'm talking about the place we came from before we came to this planet.
Mm.
I'm done.
Can I say, look at each of us, and we are all different hues, but it's just all so beautiful,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
From the darkness to the richness to the light, it's
Mm-hmm.
all beautiful.
Yes.
And I think, too, one of the issues that our clear brothers and sisters have is that when they see the lighter ones of us, they cannot deny the truth of what they did or
What
what
happened?
their ancestors did. And they don't understand that if we don't begin to forgive, if they don't forgive those who came before them, then they'll never be able to see us in our humanity. You gotta really, I mean, I've seen some things in this journey that helped me to understand, oh, so that's your issue. Oh, so this is why oh, okay, I get it. I'm gonna love you anyway. I'm gonna treat you like a human being anyway, but I'm not gonna let you
Mhm.
walk all over me because I
Mm.
got the power God gave me. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm done. Okay. I'm
Nationality
gonna cut
that
off
can,
my mic.
y'all we the only nationality can have any color child. We can have white, black, yellow, green, any color. And why is that?
Because
It
we were
doesn't.
the original human beings.
Come on now.
So we
We're
can
talking about language.
literally. Come on now. So that colorism stuff, and I never understood why they called us colored. Punch somebody that's clear in the face and see how many colors they get. Anyway, I'm just gonna call it for what it is.
Right.
Ah.
I ain't trying to be funny. You got all these different black, blues, and greens and reds and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're beautiful colors. And I love it. Like you said, every one of these women on this panel, when I look at y'all, I just see the most beautiful African American women. And all the ones that I know that's out there, from sisters to cousins to family to friends. I walk through my school and walk to see all the professors and the doctors and they're all our skin, but they're beautiful. Yeah, we are beautiful. And I don't know about this colorism stuff, but if it wasn't for the colorism, we wouldn't have the peopleism. All right. So we got the next one. Is this is you, Vaughn? You could take it.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you have it.
Shawnique, this one is for you. What does it mean being an African American woman who is a wife, a mother, and a career woman?
Oh, thank you so much, Yvonne. Yes, this means being the amazing being that we are. But really quickly, my career didn't start in corporate America. My career is now being a founder and a CEO of a nonprofit that I started 10 years ago with just the thought of creating a safe space for the youth to be exposed to all forms of art programming to see themselves in the art, but then also use art as a medium to help heal. My nonprofit is called Art in the Park. So please look us up. Our
Beautiful.
website
Yeah.
is artinthepark128.org. Because if you look up arts in the park, it will not come up. But arts, ART in the park 128.org. And my career started, like I said before, with people not knowing, believing what is a nonprofit? How do you get paid? What are you doing? You don't have no money. um, but it allowed me to have the freedom to create my seat, right? We're talking about spaces and places and how we need to conform to certain things. But art in the park and me creating and standing firm with consistency to build this brand has allowed me to create the seat. And then with creating the seat, able to lift up the youth that we are helping that are now turning into teenagers and young adults. I started this back in 2015, sitting on the bench with the thought my sons were smaller. Now my son is able to host and on the board and certain things now. So it means being able to be very, very strategic, but also very consistent on the approach of growing the career. Um, like I said, I lost my husband a couple of years ago. Um, at the time, we were separated, but even in the beginning, going back to what Kimberly was saying about the support, it was needed, and at times he did support in great ways, but it took time. And you know what it is? People just need to see it. People need to sometimes just see
Mm-hmm.
and be consistent with how you do, and then you just have with the law of attraction, people just attract to you and people want to be a part of and understand what you're doing. And like I said, my partner now is one, my friend, but also a partner in business and a partner in life. So you have to, what happens is I believe you find your tribe when, you do this type of work. So like my career, I know we sometimes talk about like career and other facets, but in my career, this is how I'm able to juggle it all. So with consistency, with tenacity, and just going and keep going strong. And like I said, law of attraction brings people together, and especially when you're doing something positive for the community and actually making a change. From the thought, we have now partnerships with some big organizations, um, universities, parks. So, and the list goes on. And I always say I'm still in my baby steps. Art in the Park is still in its inception phases and stages. Um, but to do that and to be what we're doing, you have to do and have to be consistent.
Shanique, how do you balance? How do you balance the motherhood?
I have,
The
I have one. My children are a little older. That's one. So all of the, having to cook dinner and do this and do that, all of those stages are kind of out the way. But what I will say is I have an amazing support team. My family has been amazing since day one, since I had Jaden, my first son, and 20 years ago. I have an amazing system, family unit. We're not big, but I have an amazing family unit, and they have been supportive through the entire process of me being a parent, helping to raise them.
Mhm.
So I will say support is very, very important. And if I didn't have them, I don't know. It would have been more of a struggle. I'll be totally honest. I don't know. I can't speak to it because they have been supported since day one. But I believe able to do what I'm doing now um, because of my support system.
I agree.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
Well, first and foremost, my hat goes off to you. Anybody that works with that works with kids and things of that nature. Because like I said, I jump on the soapbox for kids in a heartbeat. So my hat goes off to you. And I know you were talking about your son. Does just your son, or does other family members work with you in your efforts with your nonprofit?
So at the moment, no other family members work, but like we were talking before about support, I do
Hmm.
get support now. But in the beginning, it was a lot of what is this? What you doing? What is going on? Like
Right.
I'm a nonprofit, you know. You know how people are seen, and usually how our lifespan works is you get a job, you work, and you retire, and then you may travel a little bit and then you die. People,
Hmm.
especially in our community, they don't understand how other businesses or being an entrepreneur or starting your own actually looks like and how it actually works.
Hmm.
So once again, it took some time to get to where I am, where people are actually seeing, believing, and like I said, these partnerships are amazing with some big, organizations. So it's like, oh, okay, well, hey, let's all join in. But I have support, from my family. Everybody will share, like, um, come when they can, but nobody actually works because that sometimes can get sticky too. Because
Hmm.
how does that look when maybe my younger or older is telling me what to do, and I only see them in that light, right? I only see them
Hmm.
as the little sister, the little cousin, or the little, like how does that
Right.
work? So I try to keep those things separate. But being that I work with children and the goal and the mission is to uplift youth, and now my son, my oldest son, is at that age, it's only right to pass the baton and start showing the ropes of what can be. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, these are certain steps that need to be taken. The younger one he's also very involved, but he's on a different path. So your kids, so he's on a different path, but he is definitely also involved.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Can't
We
hear
can't
you.
hear. We can't hear.
You.
Can you hear me now? Can you
We
hear
can't.
me? Okay. Yeah, it's we have to get you on what's in the bag, and I want to actually bring you on so we can talk about that a lot more, a little more. So
Mhm.
look forward to that happening. And I find that even with my job and doing what's in the bag, a lot of people didn't know exactly what I was doing when I started this 5 years ago.
Mm,
Ain't nobody understand nothing about what we doing,
Mhm.
especially as what we have a entrepreneur attitude, but a lot of people see you differently because they know your past. And then once you start growing into something totally different, like with what I'm doing, people get a better understanding, but they still don't know what you're doing. Even bringing your family members in and things like that, I get it. But even after looking at my past experience with the jobs that I had, it helped me to grow into what I'm doing as far as entrepreneurship
That's right.
and managing, getting
mhm,
them skill sets. So did
mm,
that kind of help you, because I think you said you work with children. Is
mhm.
that did that help you with your what you're doing with the nonprofit profit? Did that was that a
Yes, so definitely working with children, yes. Being a parent, yes. Educating, you know what it was? Because I didn't even know. Um, like I said, I had the thought. I was in the park one day with my two sons, and some kids came in, and they were a little unruly. And I said, "Well, who are raising these kids? What is going on? Like, what is going on?" But what I did at that moment, I pointed the finger back at me and I said, it's so easy to talk, right? Because we all have it in us. We all gossip, we all talk smack. But I pointed the finger back at me and I said, something, Nick, you have to do more. Like, this is your community. Everybody has stuff going on, as we know, people have a lot of traumas, and art is an outlet that is very vast. But as a youth, it helped me be able to express myself. In my adult years, I went through some stuff. It helped me express myself in my adult years. So I said, let me, instead of pointing, let me do something. So it took a lot of educating myself because in the beginning, I had some money. I was like, okay, we're just going to go do this. And another woman actually told me, like, hey, you keep doing this out your pocket. No, these are the steps. So do some research, educate yourself, and then this is where, you can be, or what you can, do. And I was able to do everything. Got my team together, and just research. So it definitely takes a lot of research, and starting it literally from a mustard seed. Now I'm able to say Art in the Park has generated over six figures and moving to the seven figure realm with grants and programming. Yeah. So
Yeah,
like I said,
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm still in the baby steps, still in the baby steps,
Mhm.
but
baby, you
uh,
moving, you stepping a little bit, you crawling,
no,
you
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
crawling.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. But yes, all of that, educating yourself, working with the youth, and then always learning. Don't be afraid to pick up a book. Don't think you know everything
Right.
because things are always changing. You learn from the young people, you learn from the older people, and then you understand that you have a lot of wealth that you can give. And people, you become a role model. You guys are role models. You have this platform now. Everyone here has a story. So people look up to you and people want to be a part of what you have. So,
Hmm. Beautiful.
Look at
Yes.
Tracy in here. Let's go ahead on. So she ain't said nothing. She's trying to share her story. All right, Tracy, let's go. You ready, lady?
I'm ready. I'm
What
ready.
does it mean being an African American woman and dealing with depression?
Very, very heavy question as well. Um, you know what? As African American women, and I think someone said this earlier, we're just brought up that depression is not even a part of our vocabulary. It's not even something that really we really know. We come from a culture where whatever is going on, you deal with it, you handle it. So whether it's your job, whether it's your family, whether it's your home, depression, there's no room for depression, you know? I think we're at a point now where we're just starting to understand and accept that it's okay if you have depression, right? And it's okay if you're an African American woman and have depression. A lot of times our shoulders are so heavy with so many different things. And what I want to say is depression doesn't always look like what we think it looks like. Oftentimes we think it's the person that is, at home, they're sad, they're sitting in the dark. No, depression is the person that can get up every day and go to work and put that smile on their face, right? And you
Hmm.
have no idea what they are going through,
That's right.
right? And then the other side of this is the stigma, right? That comes along with it. So, African American women, you know, we say, go to church, let the sisters pray for you, right? Pray for yourself. That's the answer, right? That's the medicine for everything. And while it does have its place, right? But depression can be a real thing for some people, you know? I've had
Mhm.
family members, to commit suicide. We talked about that on another show. And so, once again, this is something that we, as African Americans, we don't, it's something that we are not accustomed to. We are not used to people having depression and putting it out there in the forefront.
Mm,
So, what it looks like for us is now recognizing that it's okay, right? To feel the way that you feel. It's okay, yes, to go to church to seek that part of it, but it's also okay to go to therapy. There's
Mhm.
absolutely nothing wrong with that and removing that stigma. But yeah, I can't hear you.
I said it's okay to say you're not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, always, a lot of times we mask that. A lot of times we walk around say we're okay and knowing we're not okay. I'm not okay today, and it's okay. because now you recognize, you bring in forth that, let people understand where you at for that day, and even yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we say we're okay, and we try to convince ourselves that we're okay, when in actuality we're not okay. So I love what you said. I believe that a lot of us, especially us African American women, we look at ourselves as supposed to being a certain way. That's who we are, but we got feelings too. We got
Yeah.
emotions. We
Yeah.
got we got problems. You know, we're still great in what we do, and it's not always about feeling good all the time. And that's when the depression comes, because you don't be real with yourself. Understanding that we have to be real with ourselves, because
Mm-hmm.
that's where all of it starts. We think it's
Right.
the outside intimacy is what we're feeling on the outside, but it's really the inner person that is really being affected. Because we can walk around all day saying I'm okay, but your mind, your body, your soul knows that you're not okay, and that's what you're gonna get. But you're not okay.
Yeah.
So I love what you said.
You're right. And we're just taught to just keep on going. I think that's the main thing, is that we don't
Yeah,
take the time to just stop and just say, okay, I'm not okay, or I do need a moment. It's like, you know what? We're carrying like a sack of rocks, right?
yeah,
And we just
Mm-hmm.
keep on adding to that sack. We just keep on adding to that bag and not stopping and say, maybe I need to take this rock out.
yeah.
Maybe I need to take this brick out, right? We just keep on moving, And not only that, while we're carrying the sack, we got a hand reaching back for somebody else trying to help them, and we're not good. So,
That's
you
right.
know, it's really about just recognizing, understanding what's happening with yourself, and taking that moment and taking that time.
Can I say something really quickly? I also think that we need to listen to not to respond, not to respond. I think a lot of us, especially when our girlfriends, because we always lean on someone closest to us when we're going through things. I think that we need to start. I'm just learning this, but I'm starting to listen, not to respond. Just sometimes listen, take it in, and don't respond. Don't give what you think, right? Don't count on what you think the solution will be when you actually, or excuse me, when that person is speaking to you. And like I said, it's usually someone really close to us, our best friends, our sisters, our aunties, our mothers. Like, let's listen just to listen. And I think that's something that we all need to work on, and having these safe spaces where we can lean on one another, but just listen, not to respond. And another thing is self-medicating. And in our communities, we go and we lean on certain things. I take a couple of drinks of wine sometimes. But self medicate. And like Tracy, like you were saying, safe spaces, mental health is real. I think someone said mental health is very real, but there are groups, there's places that are free most of the time, that you can just, let it out and just listen, not to respond. But yeah, I just wanted to chime in on that because it is real. I'm still going through the grief of what I had to deal with. And it was a lot. It was not all positive. I'll tell you about that when later on. I'll lay it
It's
out
coming.
there. But I'm
It's
still
coming.
processing because we were together longer than we were apart. And I'm still processing that, and then dealing with my sons and trying to be the best version of myself, running a
Mm.
business. So, like you said, Tracy, mental health, not depression. I'm not depressed or anything, but it does come in different forms. But having support, just to have my sister, when I call her up, she always responding, but just to have
Hmm.
that ear sometimes to listen, it is very, very important. And in going back to why I do what I do, because I know sometimes how we all were taught, the kids just stay in the corner, don't say anything. But these kids
Mhm.
have a lot of trauma. These kids are going through a lot of mental issues as well. So, and then you wonder why they, going through the process when they get teenagers, doing what they do. and then adult years. So I just wanted to chime in on that.
Well, I just want to kind of
Comment.
piggyback off of what you said, Shawnique and Tracy. First of all, that is a skill set that you have to learn, because I had to learn it, because I'm a helper type person. You say, I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. But sometimes, and I learned this through my BFF, that sometimes, just listen. Just listen. Because we take out the time to listen, we're truly hearing and understanding that person, and sometimes they just need to get to release. And then the other thing is, Tracy, with something that you said about it's okay to get therapy. We have a stigma in our community where people don't talk about it. A lot of people try to hide it, try to sweep it under the rug. And I tell anybody, anytime, 5 times anger management and 1 time counseling. And I'm grateful for the counseling. But because I was so angry with everything that had happened in my life, I was so angry, and all this angerness, it built up, and I didn't know how to release it other than acting out destructively. So I had to change some things, and I had to really work on me. And I kept going until I got it right. So I tell anybody out there, take out, if you better than anyone else. And if you feel though, and you don't feel that you can talk to, you don't have safe space within your circle or your family or friends, then do reach out to somebody that's outside of your norm, because sometimes it's easier to talk to those counselors and those therapists, because they don't know you,
Hmm.
but they are able to listen and give you some good, strong, solid advice. And then hearing yourself also is great therapy. You sitting there, you doing the majority of the talking and everything, and you get to truly start to understand you. So I think that that's a very good thing to do.
You can hear me.
Can't hear you again.
Can't hear me now.
Now we can.
Okay. I think my mic don't come on until after a few seconds after y'all talk.
The
So
delay. Okay.
yeah, it's a little delay. So let's go ahead on with Kimberly so we can get finished because we are already
Mhm.
at 11:04. Kimberly, what does it mean being a African American woman and being told or made to feel like you are not worthy?
So in society, um, as African American women, we're told um, we don't feel worthy, right? We microaggressions, things that come from all around us when we step out the doors of our households. There are a lot of things that come at us that can make us feel that way. Sometimes we are told that. I've heard it like, well, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to have a certain lifestyle,
Mhm.
um, happiness. What I have had to learn is to let those who care about me um, tap into me and support me, right? Because it can lead to depression, as we just spoke about. So, um, thankfully, I've had a lot of strong women in my world that show me and tell me, you know, not to let that, not to internalize that.
Mhm.
Um, we internalize a lot of things that are not us, are not, who we are. But when you hear certain things over and over again, it's just internalized. So I've been able to really let my tribe just give that back to me. Um, African American women, we're, like I said earlier, we're strong, but we also have a hard time letting other people in and letting other people speak to us and put us on the other side of, what just feeling unworthy. Um, I've felt that way before, and it's just so depressing. It makes you just feel so sad, because we're living this life, and why don't I deserve, the happiness, the good career, the great family life, um, and that's just not who we are. So I feel like, I've been able to, like I said, tap into my tribe, let other people in. Um, Tracy mentioned earlier about communication. I've held on to a lot of things, emotions, and stuff like that. I've learned to communicate when I feel like I'm going through something that makes me feel unworthy. I have people I can talk to. And I think we need to be able to express ourselves more when we're facing those kind of challenges, and that, the emotional side of that. Excuse me. I'm sorry. My
Well, I have something to say, and it's not really a question that we have to answer today, but maybe just kind of like something for each of us to think about, right? So, what determines your worth? How is your worth determined? Is it determined by outside factors, inside factors, something internally? What determines your worth? So it's just something to think about. I mean, you know, we can comment on it,
well,
but if nothing else, it's just something to kind of just think for yourself.
and there are a lot of
And we can't
outside
be.
factors that influence that, you know. Um, but I hear you. It's a lot to think about.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, because worth honestly could be different for each of us, you know,
Mhm.
and with worth comes value. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that, I think that you have to kind of look within yourself and understand and appreciate what your worth is or what worth is to you and not let anyone devalue that.
That's true.
Right.
I agree with that.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm soaking in all of this.
I know it's a lot,
Deep.
right?
It is.
I
It's
think we're,
really
we're
deep.
all gonna after this,
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
very
read a
we're
book.
gonna
deep.
we're gonna yeah, we're gonna really, and I'm gonna more or less elaborate on a lot of it just for myself.
Hmm.
Let's see what we're gonna give this one. We all must believe we are awesome. We need to tell ourselves this often. We juggle so many balls
Ball.
all the time. We are awesome for doing it. I love that.
Hmm.
It's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead on and do this last one, and since we're gonna ask everyone this question. Um, Miss Claudette is in school. Oh, this she is. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I told you to go ahead on and go to work. So we're gonna start with you since you need to
Yeah.
go ahead on and teach these classes. So we're gonna start with Claudette Tracy.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask that last question, babe.
All right. So this is the final question. Thank you, everybody, for just taking the time today to even be a part of this platform and be so transparent and just giving your perspective as well as your experience. So we are now down to the last question for each of us to answer. And the question is, as African American women, in 3 sentences, what would you tell your younger self? Claudette.
Slow down.
Three
No,
sentence.
let me
Three
stop.
sentences.
You got this.
Three sentences.
Three
Go ahead.
sentences.
No,
Yes.
I'm
Three
gonna do it
sentences.
in 3 sentences. But
Go
before
ahead.
that, let me just thank all of you guys for allowing me to be part of the conversation. I
Oh,
really appreciate each and every one of you. Pray for me as I go into this classroom today,
we are.
because they're gonna get a test again. Why? Because they don't read. Okay, so I wrote my answer down to make sure that I stayed within 3 sentences. Enjoy being the age you are right here and right now, because
Mhm.
there's no need to rush into becoming anything before it's time. Okay? Do not move headlong into any relationship. Take the time to observe, listen, and truly see people for who they are. And lastly, above all, always trust yourself, your voice, your instincts, and your worth. You all are powerful women. I love each and every one of you. We're going to chat and chew.
Mhm.
Bye bye.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
good
All
All
right.
day.
right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
All right.
Claudette.
All right, Tracy. Who's next?
Okay. Kimberly, you're up next. As an African
Um,
American woman in 3 sentences, what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to be more confident in myself, and what I know. I would also tell my younger self to allow myself to learn from my mistakes. You know, mistakes are not always a bad thing. We're supposed to learn from that, and that's something I would definitely tell my younger self.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Shawnique, you're up. As an African American woman in 3 sentences, what would you tell your younger self?
Thank you all for having me. This was wonderful. I would tell my younger self, be patient. Everything takes time. Um, take your time. Travel a little more.
Hmm.
I traveled a lot, but I would travel more. I would have traveled some other places.
It's
Um,
not too late.
say that again.
It's not too late.
Oh no,
Right.
I travel all the time. But
Right.
travel more, be patient. Everything takes time, and I would invest. I said that the other day. I would invest a lot more of money. Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And now I'm even going to pose this question to our wonderful host, Yvonne. As an African American woman in 3 sentences, what would you tell your younger self?
The first thing I would tell myself is that I had the right to my age of innocence. Don't
Mhm.
rush to don't rush to get older. The second thing I would tell my younger self is wait on having children
Mhm.
until you reach a certain point in life. And the third thing that I would tell my younger self is be smarter about your finances in those early years.
Mhm. Awesome, beautiful. All right, Miss Marvina, you are up.
Ready to ask you that question, Tracy. As
Oh,
an African American woman in three sentences, what would you tell yourself, your younger self?
I had to do like Claudette. I'm really not good at this, so I had to write it down so that I would
Me
remember,
too.
right? All right. So one is prepare for tomorrow. So that kind of piggybacks off of what Yvonne was saying, and whatever that means in terms of tomorrow, prepare for tomorrow. Secondly, love yourself so that you're able to love others, right? And the third one, live life beautifully and to the fullest
Mhm.
at each and
Yeah.
every age and stage of your life.
Love it. Now, as the host, I will go last because I feel like, I'm supposed to.
Okay.
And I would tell my young person, and I did the same thing, Tracy. I wrote mine down. The first thing I would say, and I did this off of what we were talking about.
Hmm.
It just didn't really come out of my head, but what we talked about as far as these questions. First thing I would do is trust my. I tell them to trust. Tell her to trust yourself. You already know more than you gave yourself credit for.
Mm.
The second thing I would tell myself is stop apologizing for things that were never my fault.
Hmm.
And the third thing is everything you're going through is shaping you, not breaking you.
Mm. Yeah.
Love,
Those are
love,
the three things
Yeah.
I would have said to myself
Awesome.
as my younger self. I
Yes.
love this. I enjoyed every minute of it, every second of it. Um, Traci, thank you again. We will be back on next time. We got another sessions coming up. We're going to
yes.
be doing more panels coming up. I would love for us to do this in the next month. We was
Mhm.
talking. Um, but we're gonna do it in a little different way. Just look out, look out, look out for what we're getting ready to do. I don't want to just spill the beans. We had a lot of conversation on how we're gonna do this. But I want to tell each and every one of you, African American, Black, beautiful women of God, of your understanding, you have given me the strength just by listening to your testimonies. Even though they might have been questions, they're more testimonies to me that you answered. It gave me the strength to know that I'm on the path of righteousness because I feel the same way majority of the conversations came out. Righteousness of where I've been and to where I am today is making me, it's going to grow. I don't know what everyone else got out of it, but what's in a bag would not be what's in a bag without people like you to come on and share exactly and empty your bag and giving voice to the voiceless. And I believe a lot of our audience, the people group, people that has spoken and watched and even comment, they feel the same way. I just want to thank you. I want to give y'all some love. I've learned how to use my little thing, so I hope this comes out awesome. Thank y'all so much.
Thank
Great
you.
room.
Yeah.
Yvonne, you got something to say to them before they leave?
Thank you,
Let
ladies,
me get
all.
this off of here. I'm like, getting my question. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you all for coming in and sharing your powerful testimonies. It has been a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Thank you guys so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything you got to say, Traci, before you leave? Since you host, this is your
Yeah, you know
edition.
what? Yeah, I just thank everybody for taking the time, because you could have been anywhere else, probably sleep, doing anything else, and you chose to be here and share your perspective, your experiences on this platform, What's in the Bag. So I'm just very appreciative, of everyone being here today.
How about you, Kim?
I thank you guys for Tracy. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for letting me speak on this topic. I really enjoyed myself. I hope to, join you guys again. This was awesome. I usually sleep this early on a Saturday morning, but
I didn't
this
want to call you
was.
out.
But thank you so much. This was great. This was really a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you all for allowing us to and me to share. Um, the questions were definitely um, good, right? It was a good discussion. So I just
Yes.
want to say thank you. We all came from a place of authenticity, and it was a safe space. So thank you, even though it was live. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for the invite. It was great. Can't wait to come back.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Wonderful.
y'all. We get ready to let y'all go. We are ready at 11:20. I knew it was gonna be about 11:30 before we got up out of here because of all the questions. We will be talking to y'all later. If y'all want, y'all can sit in the back so we can just do a little crunch before we leave. Don't go nowhere. Give us like 2 more minutes, okay? Hold on for a minute, okay? All right. Hey BFF.
Hey, beautiful.
What a wonderful, wonderful segment. And I appreciate you for
Yeah, I appreciate.
being the host that the co-host, the host and the co-host that you are. And we're gonna go ahead on and you can take us out right quick so we can get going off. So let me just say this, y'all. The topic was today what does it mean to be an African American woman? And I want each and every one of the women out here to think about that. Because like what I was telling the young ladies earlier, we don't really think about that. just go on with our lives every day. Don't think and understand the most powerful people on this earth are the African American women. We are powerful women. We have taken on a lot. We do a lot. We make things happen. We entrepreneurs. We're daughters.
Mhm.
We're cousins. We're aunts. We're nieces. We're you know wives. We're all kinds of things, and we play our part. So I just want y'all to think about that topic today. And go ahead, BFF. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey guys, look, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. As always, join us on our Facebook interactive page. That's What's in the Bag. It's Motivational Monday, Talk About It Tuesday, Wednesday Wisdom. I'm all tongue tied over
Wisdom
here.
Wednesday.
Thankful Thursday and Friday. And remember, the questions and the comments that you see on the interactive page during the week actually lead up to the discussion that we'll be having on that Saturday. So tune in and join us, and then also check us out on our Facebook directory. That's What's in the Bag with the question mark. What's in the Bag with the question mark. Then also remember on that page, the What's in the Bag with the question mark. If you have a business that information that you want to put out there, or some information that may be able to help someone else, please don't hesitate to put that information on there. We'd love for you to. And then you guys can find us on Twitch and YouTube at What's in the Bag and the number 21. What's in the Bag and the number 21. On our YouTube, continue to help us grow that channel. So we ask that you go there and that you subscribe, that you like, and you share. And you can see all of the previous segments that we have. And if you want to talk to Marvina or myself, 833-520-9482, extension 700 or 701. Again, it's 833-520-WITB. We look forward to hearing from you. And if you don't want to give us a call, you can DM us. So
I know y'all hear a lot of the songs that we put on. We're ready to take these songs and put them on out there for y'all to listen to. There's a lot of great songs, and every song is from the
mhm,
topics that we're talking about. So, you go back and relate to them. So we're gonna put it on. So I think Spotify. We're talking about putting it on.
mhm,
But we're getting ready to place these songs out there for y'all listen pleasures. So just to support. Maybe something may touch you. We have so many different ones, but right now we got this one. We want to let you hear. We thank y'all so much and have a wonderful, blessed rest of your week. See you on next Saturday. Go ahead, Vaughn.
yeah. Hey guys, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful, beautiful day. God woke us up. Let that be thanks enough. And with that being said, as always, stay blessed, be a blessing, and have a blessed day. Love you guys and look forward to seeing you guys next week.
She carries more than you see. Oh, yeah. Legacy, strength, identity. I come from roots that were never meant to grow. Still I rise in places they said I wouldn't go. Carrying stories I didn't choose.